sticking with hockey but switching coasts from Vancouver to Toronto, although Toronto's not really the coast. It's kind of sort of.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying.
Next to a lake.
All right. How about we go from Ottawa to Toronto? The Leafs have been without a captain since they traded away Dion Phaneuf in 2016. But since the signing of John Tavares, the talk about who should wear the C has been on again and off again, which leads us to this interview with Auston Matthews from The Athletic, which reads, and I quote Matthews from the conversation, "Yeah, I would tell them I don't know what they're thinking about doing, what they want to do. Obviously, John has been the captain in New York for a while, so I don't know what they're thinking or what their whole ideal situation is for that." Basically, he's saying, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Because I screwed up that quote.
No, I got you.
I'm ready. Pretty sure the moving graphic was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was just him
no
standing
reflection
there.
on the graphic.
I was staring
You were
at
taken aback by how good the graphic
eyes of
was.
Auston Matthews.
Let's
No, don't do it again.
See it again. He's
Don't
gonna
do
be
it again.
mesmerized.
Look at
and
that.
boom, looks at you. And then the
just-
lights go up. You know what? Because he's Auston Matthews and you're not.
Yeah, I tell him I feel ready is basically what I was
That's the headline there, yeah.
trying to tell everybody, but I was distracted by his beauty. Look at that gaze. He's staring into
It's
our
the most
souls.
distracting graphic we've ever done. Nice job, Sean.
All right, I didn't read it correctly. However, Mr. Sixero, what do you make of the quote from Auston Matthews, which makes it feel like, one, he hasn't heard about it,
right,
and two, he wouldn't mind being the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs?
I think any look. What does the captaincy mean? In 2018, probably less than it's ever meant in the history of professional hockey, right? Mm-hmm. Am I wrong in saying that? In terms of media post-game, obviously you got to stand there, you got to talk, you got to blah, blah, blah. But what does a captaincy really mean in professional hockey anymore?
I always thought, listen, to me, I always thought it was about the room. I always thought it was about your dressing room and your dressing room only. It's turned out to be media obligations as well, but I think it sets the tone for your room, and I know that you wanted to go a different way with it, but I can't agree with you on it. I really think that it sets the tone for the rest of your team.
All right.
I think you want the guy who you want to be the lead for everyone else to be that guy, to wear that C.
Okay, well, let's frame this discussion off what you just said. I think you have two guys that want it, right? You have a young Auston Matthews who's been the best player he's ever been at since he was 5, including Toronto. This year's maybe changed a bit.
Right.
You got a guy who's been a captain for a long time, who is from here, just got married, has tons of family here. This is the biggest moment of his professional life past being drafted. Right. This coming season for John Tavares. To wear the C for either guy, the sense we're all getting, it does mean something to them. Right. Austin's kind of downplaying. He's not downplaying, but he's not making a big thing of it. He's doing the smart thing. You know John Tavares would love to be a captain. Now, this is an innocent thing right now, but sometimes innocent things in big media markets turn into stupid things. And when you have a coach in Mike Babcock, where there's been plenty of discussion about his relationship with Auston Matthews, you have a brand new GM in Kyle Dubas, where's this decision coming from? Who's making the call? Will Auston feel slighted? Will John feel slighted? This matters to me. I think this sets a lot of tones, not just in that room, I think, Tim. And if Auston Matthews says publicly, you know, I think I'm ready, and doesn't get it, how does that come off? That's my only question here.
Yeah, is he pissed off?
Is he pissed off?
Here's the thing that I am really surprised. When this story came out, you weren't here. You were on vacation, because you were on vacation for basically the entire summer. But we had this conversation. I believe it might have been myself and Carolyn Cameron, might have been DJ that was in that day. But I said, I guarantee you they're having this conversation behind the scenes so it doesn't come out in the public. What we just had was Jonas Siegel doing a pretty good job for The Athletic.
Nice job on the interview.
Talking to him about this very thing, and Auston Matthews letting me know that he hasn't been told anything about this. Listen, it's a great thing for the Toronto Maple Leafs to have two guys who want to be captains in this market. Because you and I know that media pressure that could turn this into a story is also going to be turned on them. And if they have two guys who want to be captains in this market, that's a good thing. However, if you go back to the end of last season and the reports about a Babcock-Matthews tiff, and then the ensuing reports that Babcock went to Arizona to meet with Matthews. For him to come to this spot and not know whether or not he'll be the captain of the team this year seems a little off to me. And maybe the Leafs know what they're doing, and maybe they're going to give it to him. Maybe John Tavares has already agreed that he doesn't need to be the captain, because we haven't heard from either side really about if they would be mad, what they want. They both want to be the captain. But if they don't have this sorted out, I think this is a big misstep by the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they may piss off their one young superstar or the guy they just signed. They may have already got it ironed out, but if they haven't, it's a big mistake by the Leafs.
Look, you and I sit here every day, and we try our best to cover every sports angle in this country that matters to everybody, right? We try and talk as much Flames and Canucks as we do Leafs and Habs. The reality is also, you and I grew up in this market, and we're working in this market for a long time. We know what the media is like in this market. The way last season ended, if you begin this year with Auston Matthews not getting the C, that Babcock-Matthews thing is low-hanging fruit for this media.
Right.
It is going to be, maybe not epic, but whatever rung below epic is, that's what it's going to be. And I am hoping, Tim, you are correct. They have straightened this out. Whatever's going to happen, I wouldn't give it to anybody. To hell with it. Don't have a captain this year. Don't just wash your hands of it. Focus on beating Tampa or Boston in a best of 7.
Right.
Make that your focus. I don't think this should be your focus. But if they haven't talked about it, Tim, this could become a thing. This could become a thing.
Especially if it's Tavares, because of the history of Babcock. And I've said it before on this show. A lot of people won't say it, especially in this market. But Babcock is a wonderful, amazing coach who has a resume unlike many others, if not any others, in professional hockey.
Yep.
He also has a history of wearing on his players, and there are those that suggest that Nick Lidstrom would have played 2 more years if Mike Babcock was not in Detroit. It ended in Detroit for a reason for Mike Babcock, and there are many who suggest it's because he wore on his players. You don't want to start something between Mike Babcock and Auston Matthews. We're not doing that. We're just saying if this becomes a thing and it's not Auston Matthews and Auston Matthews is perturbed, you've got step 1 in that wearing on your team. And listen, Babcock could have learned from his experiences in Detroit, and that's the reason why he made the trip to Arizona, or he might not have, and we'll see over the next little while.
And giving the C down the road can be problematic if you make that wrong decision. Ask people in Montreal if it's making it more complicated or less complicated that Max Pacioretty is a captain.
The C in Montreal might be even more difficult.
It's the biggest C in hockey. Arguably the biggest C in hockey.
Than anywhere else. Context to what Matthew said, too, because I think this is important. And I know that the juicy quote was the one that I attempted to read but couldn't do it. He also said, I don't think it really changes much whether you have a letter or not for myself or anybody. I go lead by example on the ice, off the ice, and being a good teammate is a big part of that too. I was not distracted by Auston Matthews' deep
laser
lays
focus
that time around.
Laser focus.
I didn't look at it because I would have been distracted. And look at the way he tapes his stick. Unbelievable.
Perfectly taped.
There is context. He understands it. Everyone understands it. I just wonder where down the road this whole Babcock-Matthews relationship is.
I hope.
If I were a Leaf fan, I would keep a close eye on it.
I just hope all parties involved realize how combustible this is. It would be incredibly ignorant to just say, whatever. We'll give the C to A or B, and there'll be no ramifications.
Here's the one thing that I will say about your media market. These 2 guys seem like they know how to handle this. These 3 guys seem like they know.
Tim, I don't disagree with that, but I was really surprised at that narrative at the end of the season. I was really surprised.
What, the Matthews-Babcock?
Yes, I was taken aback by it.
That's real.
It's real, but I was surprised by it.